only 1-0, but it's as comfortable 1-0 as you can see, that's for certain. Man City thoroughly, probably 78 to 82% possession, over 300 passes to Bournemouth, just over 100. Been a very dominant performance so far.
Chase on here for Jordan Ive though, down the left hand side. He's up against Otamendi, cuts in the box, looking to get onto his right foot, does get onto his right foot, takes a deflection from the shot, and it's another corner for Bournemouth down this left hand side. Right, this time the player getting into a decent position. He's never scored for Bournemouth since he made his move from Liverpool. Again, another player they spent a lot of money on, £15 million in total. I think his 9th Premier League start of the season.
He's been woefully underwhelming for me, Jordan Ibe. You said he hasn't scored a goal.
Corner swung over, away by Edison, not convincingly. Back in by Cook. That's going to spin out for what will be a throw on the far side to Manchester City. There's a problem here in the penalty area though, and it's for Andrew Sermon. Referee will need to give some treatment. 2 minutes remaining in the half. It's Southampton leading Huddersfield elsewhere by a goal to nil. Stoke leading West Brom by a goal to nil in that crucial game near the foot of the table. And West Ham won, Newcastle won. And I think it's Aguero that he's claiming may have caused the problem.
Yeah, it was. Aguero went shoulder to shoulder with Sermon. Wasn't a great deal of contact. He must just have caught him, Andrew Sermon, at an awkward angle, because he's gone down clutching that right shoulder. Really innocuous shoulder to shoulder challenge between Sermon and Aguero. Aguero did initiate the contact. Didn't seem to be a great deal in it.
Well, we certainly don't need this right now, bearing in mind we've already had to make one substitution in the game for the injury to Junior Stanislas. The last thing they really need. He looks like he's going to be alright. His right shoulder is still showing a bit of discomfort for the Bournemouth captain. He will be down to 10 men for the moment though. We're just over a minute to go to half time, so he'll probably try and soldier on until they get him into the dressing room anyway, and then they can have a proper look at him and, if necessary, add some strapping or whatever may be required. Here's the throw on that far side then, which Delph will take, a couple of yards from the corner flag in the defensive third for Manchester City. Goes to the feet of Zane, who flicks it, but doesn't flick it that convincingly because it came to Pugh, and it's pushed out wide by Gosling, and Silva at the edge of his own box will give it to Delph, and Delph then will get the clearance in. Only as far there as Sermon, who is back on, and they're back to full numbers, but his arm movement is certainly limited on that right hand side right now. Here's Otamendi, who nods it down to the feet of Delph at the edge of the Manchester City penalty area, and now he's got time to find company. And because no one's pressing Otamendi, they've just been able to play it out quite comfortably with company, and defence suddenly turns into attack for Manchester City.
No pressure on Delph. Delph can just roll it back to Otamendi. No pressure on Otamendi. He just rolls it across to company, and they come out on the right hand side.
Forgive me for being naive, but when you've got City hemmed in, don't you want to keep them there?
You would. I don't see why you wouldn't do that. I think they've just got so acclimatised, Bournemouth, to sitting off, that they're doing it all over the pitch. But as you say, they were in a tight, confined space. If there'd have been a shout from behind, they all could have pushed up and kept Manchester City pinned into that left-hand side. As it was, they allowed them to come out and keep the ball.
Last 2 minutes of the half, because it's added time, and that's what Mike Jones has prescribed following that injuries to Stanislas and also to Sermon. On halfway is Otamendi again. City leading by a goal to nil. Scored by Sergio Aguero. 26 minutes were on the clock when he nodded past Begovic, and it's the goal that separates these sides right now. Delph down that left hand side, finds Silva, infield again to Fernandinho. Fernandinho then will lift it out to this right hand side. Sterling, lovely takedown, gets support from Kyle Walker, laid off again to Sterling, edge of the penalty area, dinks it over towards David Silva. It's headed away by Smith, back in by Fernandinho. Gosling gets another header on and gets it clear, only as far as Sterling. Fernandinho just attempted to dink that in the direction of Aguero. Gosling intervenes, and on halfway Otamendi has it once more. A minute of the two played. Here is De Bruyne, turns, cuts in field, just tries to step away from Gosling and from Sermon. And here comes De Bruyne again through the middle, just bundled out of it. Now Adam Smith will try to counter for Bournemouth on that right hand side, and his ball down the line is kind of into no man's land and came off Delph and out of play for a Bournemouth throw on that far side. Late goal at the Bet365. Stoke West Brom, John Howick.
Here is Joe Allen now wrestling through, and he's sent through Choupo-Moting. Foster's come, Moting's done it with the eyes. Moting now with an empty net, makes it 2-0 right before the half-time whistle.
2-0. Stoke rise to the occasion to probably keep Mark Hughes in a job. They lead West Bromwich Albion by 2-0. Here's a long throw from Steve Cook into the penalty area. Fernandinho gets it away. We've had the 2 minutes of added time. Jordan Ibe on that far side gets the ball over, headed out by Fernandinho, and there's the half-time whistle. No corner for Bournemouth. Mike Jones has had enough, and the end of 45 minutes where Sergio Aguero, according to the papers today, he's not happy at City and he wants away. Well, he scored his 100th goal at the Etihad today, a deft header past Begovic, and it's what gives Manchester City the half-time lead. Man City 1, Bournemouth 0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered.
Gets away from another, curled it into the top corner. It is a moment of Merseyside magic from Mo Salah. He's done it again, his 19th of the season.
TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live.
Defoe in the penalty area, dips one. Oh, that is a magnificent goal from Jermaine Defoe. Absolutely stunning from Jermaine Defoe.
Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Lanzini back to Arnautovic. He's inside the bar.
Half time at the Etihad, Man City leading here by 1-0. Plenty of goals in those crucial games elsewhere. 6 3 o'clock kickoffs UK time this afternoon. Here's the story of the first half.
For West Ham United, the early goal, and the man in form, Arnautovic, has found the net again. Save stands over the ball, so too Matt Ritchie. Save with the free kick. Oh, what a goal! Well, that's atoned his early error. Here's Choupo-Moting, 30 yards out. Moting the edge of the box. His shot takes a big deflection. Might put in a crouch on the volley, and then knocked in by Joe Allen. It's Stoke who take the lead. Or Prowse's corner looking for Hurt, and it's in from Charlie Austin. It's been coming. He can't stop scoring in the Premier League. An England call-up maybe beckons for Charlie Austin. It's Southampton 1, Huddersfield 0.
Silva gets it under control. Fernandinho. Chance for Aguero, 1-0. No offside flag. Sergio Aguero around the penalty spot. Not it beyond Asmir Begovic.
Here is Joe Allen now wrestling through, and he's sent through Choupo-Moting. Foster's come. Moting's done it with the eyes. Moting now with an empty net. Makes it 2-0 right before the half-time whistle.
I just thought we'd enjoy that for a few moments, Matt, don't you think?
Yeah.
Our finest music of the season so far, I feel. The highlights of the first half then, the eve of Christmas Eve, our Premier League action all the way through tonight with Leicester, Manchester United winding up the day. We've got Burnley against Spurs before that, and the half-time scores in our 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon. Brighton 0, Watford 0, Southampton 1, Huddersfield 0, Charlie Austin the goal scorer. Stoke 2 up against West Brom, Joe Allen and Choupo-Moting with the goals. Swansea 0, Crystal Palace 0, and West Ham 1, Newcastle 1. Although Newcastle have hit the woodwork twice in that game at the London Stadium. Here at the Etihad, it's a cruise for Manchester City, isn't it?
It's an absolute cruise. 75% possession, nearly 400 passes Manchester City, only just over 100 for Bournemouth. And Bournemouth are a side, as we know, Eddie Howe likes to play football. The side are all very comfortable on the ball. They just cannot get the ball off Man City. They are just working so much harder. And you mentioned it just at the end of the first half as well, Adam. When there are those times for Bournemouth to press, they're still sitting off. They're quite happy to lose this game 1-0. Away with their heads held relatively high after that capitulation 4-0 to Liverpool last week.
That's the key, isn't it? So there's a bit of jeopardy here. If they do start to press a little more, and if they do try and defend a little bit higher maybe, and put a little bit pressure on City in their own half when they've got the ball, what's the potential damage from that then?
Yes, there is the damage that they get hit on the counter-attack, but what's the point of playing a game of football if you're just happy, you're quite content to lose 1-0? You're not willing to put any numbers forward. Yes, you're going to leave yourself, there's going to be gaps at the back, but you've got to go for goal. The only place they're leading Bournemouth in terms of stats is they've got 4 corners to 3 with Manchester City. They can do damage from corners, but they do have to put some bodies forward. As I said, there's no point in taking yourself to the Etihad if you're not willing to go for at least a point bare minimum. What's the point of playing sport if you're going to be content with losing 1 or 2-0?
I think if I'd paid to watch this today, I'd be taking them to court.
Yes.
For contempt of court for turning up to a football match and not trying.
And not playing football, yeah. And you don't like to say that a bunch of professional players aren't trying, but it doesn't look like they are. They're not trying to gain anything. They're just very content, as we've said, sit behind the ball, 5-4-1, not concede too many goals, and I think they will leave with their head held relatively high if they just lose 1 or 2-0. And for me, that's not football, that's not sport. What's the point of turning up?
Yeah, very much so. More from Matt to come in a moment. First of all, let's hear from the 2 managers who feature in our next game that's live for you this afternoon. It comes from Turf Moor. Surprise package of the season, Burnley, taking on Spurs, who have been on the slide, thumped by City last week, of course. Let's hear from Maurizio Pochettino, and first of all, Sean Dyche.
Well, I certainly don't think they've got dodgy away form. I think they've got indifferent away form, because I've seen some of the performances. They're still being given some very good performances. The one at Man City, let's face it, you can park that at the minute, because they're riding high. They're on a wave of good play and confidence, and if you've got the best players, arguably best squad in the world, and they're playing well and confident, that's a tough challenge for anyone. But no, they're a fine side, and I like the work the manager does. I like the work their players do, and I think they're a real good side, and we've definitely got to be on our toes for all of these Christmas games. You have anyway. I mention it all the time, but I think there's certain teams that have that little extra edge, and Tottenham are one of them.
I am not a person that comfortable person. I love to take a risk. I am here because I love to take a risk, and I feel that I am a winner. Sometimes the winner lose too, and they need to lose to feel the pain. And of course, I never sign a result before to play, never.
Thoughts of Maurizio Pochettino and Sean Dyche then ahead of that big kick-off, 5:30 UK time, so around about 90 minutes time or so. Matt, what have you made of Burnley's season so far? How they go from